We have all heard the expression hidden histories, but it is difficult to explain a so-called hidden history that remains in plain sight. That is what has happened in Southampton. During the latter part of World War II, it served as the springboard for D-Day and the liberation of Europe. This was a familiar role for Southampton because it was traditionally the trooping port for the British Army since the Boer War in the previous century. The difference in World War II is that the role was highly classified. It served the Allied war effort to let the enemy believe Southampton was finished after the Blitz in 1940 and 41. After that date, Southampton as the invasion port, as it became known, was hiding within plain sight of the enemy. Usually, historic events occur in the glare of publicity and become embedded in the national culture. But because of the secrecy, this never happened to Southampton. The civilian population assumed that they were no different than any other town in the UK, oblivious of the importance of the role of the port. This also meant that Southampton never received the credit it might expect from historians who quite rightly focused on the fighting on the beaches of Normandy. Historic England, tasked with protecting this nation's heritage, say a tangible reminder of the part played by the port in the success of Operation Overlord is the Whale roadway section and buffer pontoon of the Second World War Mulberry Harbour, now rusting away next to the derelict Royal Pier at Southampton. It is a Grade 2 listed structure because, according to the classification system, World War II artefacts are still common, although this is the only one of 4 known surviving examples of a whale section in Britain, and the only surviving example of a buffer pontoon. More importantly, Historic England state it is a reminder of the prominent role of the city of Southampton in the preparation and launching of Overlord. For too long, Southampton has built its tourist reputation on the sinking of the Titanic. The memories of World War II are governed by the terrible tragedy of enemy bombing, but the town's greatest moment in history is the role it played during Operation Overlord. The Imperial War Museum described the whale as a direct connection with a pivotal moment in world history, which helped ensure that soldiers, vehicles and supplies could be brought ashore to take part in the campaign to liberate continental Europe from Nazi domination and to bring to an end a regime that had brought death and suffering to millions. The trouble remains that the structure at Southampton is not permanent, and although Historic England say that it is a tangible reminder of the part played by Southampton, it is rusting away, and once it is gone, it will be gone forever. Historic England have acknowledged the part played by Southampton during World War II, but even at the time, some civilians could appreciate the importance of the port, and this film, beginning with the title, illustrates perfectly the unique role played by Southampton. Made by Rosie Newman, she preferred colour film because it looked more natural. She lived in Piccadilly in London next door to royalty before they moved to Buckingham Palace. She describes D-Day as the biggest transport operation of all time. Millions of men and machines. The film opens with troops embarking from the same dock where Churchill stood inspecting assault troops embarking for D-Day. She travels along Canute Road to S2 and S3 Hards at Town Quay and Royal Pier, with film of the LST landing ship tanks that were to carry the men and machines to Normandy from what Rosie Newman calls special loading ramp. Unlike other ports along the coast, Southampton was operational until the end of the war, which is clear from the winter uniforms worn by the troops. There is one very notable addition to the film, and that is the train ferry she captures returning to dock further along the River Test. This and similar vessels sailing from Southampton were instrumental in restocking the French railways. This film reflects the unique role played by Southampton during a crucial period in history. Incredibly, Southampton does not have any memorial to those who left from the port in World War II. So when the Whale roadway section and bumper pontoon of the Second World War Mulberry Harbour disappear, there will be no tangible reminder of the prominent role the port played during Operation Overlord for future generations.